What's up, Desktopers? Welcome to another episode of Bodybuilding University with myself, Martin Fitzwater, Brett Wilkin, and Nathan Asha. And this week we've got a fair few topics to talk about. But boys, I wanted to actually discuss with you first, Brett. I saw a photo of you posing down next to Charles Griffin out there, I believe, at the Royal and Revive gym. And you're looking pretty awesome, man. Like, how's everything going? And how did it feel, I suppose, posing down next to Charles Griffin, who's obviously recently won a pro show?
Yeah, no, he came out, he's joining the team. So he came out for a few days and, came down to the headquarters down here and stayed with Matt. But it was funny because he just made me remember this. I put him through a couple of workouts and, we were getting after it. I was kind of kicking his ass a little bit because he said he hasn't trained with a pro since 2018. And I was like, wait, what? Like, he's like, yeah, I haven't trained with another pro since 2018. You know who the other pro was?
Who's that?
Nathan.
Oh, really?
You were the last person he trained with as a pro. So no, it was good to get him down here and get after and stuff. He's still fucking lean as hell. I think he's put on like 15 pounds and none of it's been fat, but I probably had like 20 pounds on him, but obviously I'm much deeper in the off season. But no, it was good. It was good to compare next to him. And he's motivated as fuck for the Olympia. So I'm excited to see how that goes for him.
Yeah, for sure. And it's cool to see that comparison too, because I saw a few different angles. I saw the one from the side first, and then I saw the one from front on. So it was cool to see sort of size comparison wise, how you sort of match up with Charles. Obviously, yeah, like you said, different conditioning. Charles is obviously in, like really close to contest shape. So he's obviously staying really, really lean in the lead up to the Olympia. And you're obviously, sort of full blown off season. So it's cool to see that sort of size comparison.
Yeah, it was good because it showed me like, a big focus this offseason has been legs. I've been just fucking killing them. Like every 3 days I do legs, and it's working. I can really tell. Like this is the biggest my legs have ever been. I hit Martin. I was 279 this morning. So this is the most I've ever weighed fasted too. So, and still real, 12, 15% by fat. I don't know. I don't care, but still keeping it in a good spot and just, continuing to push here for probably 3-4.
Brett has glutes or lines in his glutes.
Yeah, they're still the goal is, my ultimate goal is to get so fat in off season that I finally lose my glutes. You know what I mean? So that's my goal. I just don't hold anything there. It's like everywhere else but my glutes.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if it's just because your estrogen just stays lower or what. Like, I don't know.
It's just genetics, man. Like people are like, that's why I think people like overthink like glutes, striations so much. It's like, I don't ever lose them. And then some people just don't ever get them, unless you like a flex wheel or something, that was his hardest thing. He was so perfect everywhere else, but he couldn't get glutes. So it's just genetics. And I guess I can thank my mom for that or something,
Yeah. Do you do any like specific training in terms of your legs, like what area you're trying to bring up or anything like that?
Well, just overall size on both sides, but especially sweep. So I've really been focusing on, and what's been good. And, obviously my last gym with Armbrust Pro Gym was an awesome gym, but I think just the change to come into brand, different equipment, it's not like this exact same stuff. So it's just playing with these new toys down here, putting the foot, we know how we're training, like with feet placement to load the outer quad, everything there. So that, that's just been the main thing is just the new equipment and just continued focus on just killing them.
Yeah, for sure. I think we lost Nathan, but he'll be back, I'm assuming. But one other thing I was going to ask as well about, I totally forgot what I was going to ask about leg training or something. Totally forgotten, but I'll get back to it. But Martin, how have you been going, man? Because I've seen some physique updates from you and I didn't leak any this week. So that's good. But yeah, I've seen some stuff, man. You're looking really, really good. So how are you feeling? What is it, 3 weeks out now or 3.5?
Yeah, 3.5 weeks, man. Just chugging along, like I said before we got on recording here, like just everything's going as planned, man. We pushed for like the last 4 days. Just had 4 real hard low days. Finally kicked food back up today. Just finally hit that flat point. Brett knows it's really hard to flatten my physique out. Really, you'd have to take all my fats and carbs. We haven't taken all my fats out, so it took me a couple of days to really flatten out. But it was needed. So pushing myself as much as I can, and I will be in the best shape of my life, no question. I'm probably there right now, and I'm going to keep pushing as hard as I can for another week and a half, 2 weeks, and then we'll start to let off the gas, obviously, and ride into the show and fill out my physique nicely, probably just slow and steady. So just keep pushing these next couple weeks. Use this Texas heat. It's been 105, 108. Yesterday we trained legs. It was 107 when I was posing at the end. And it's awesome, man. I'm having a blast. I think Branch is really having a blast too. He's super pumped about my conditioning and where we're gonna land it. So just having fun, man. I'm just enjoying the ride, honestly. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Have you been doing any cardio, or is it just the training and the heat been taking care of that?
I'm doing 20 minutes in the morning walking on the treadmill in my garage. And it's probably like already almost 80 degrees when I'm walking in there. So I'm getting a sweat, but I'm maybe burning, like hitting like 80 to 100 calories. I'm not like going balls to the walls or anything. And that was like 4 days a week for the longest time. And then at 5 weeks out, we went to 7 days a week. And I've been doing that for the last 2 weeks now. So just a little bit, mostly, honestly, it just helps my digestion first thing in the morning, make sure that I get that clearance right after cardio, and then I'm perfect to go. So
Nathan, are you someone, do you have to pound cardio, or you kind of just get it mainly from the training and the diet?
Bro, I don't do cardio. I only done cardio with Matt. That was the first time I've ever done cardio in my life, and I fucking dreaded it. But I don't do it. Fuck that. I'd rather stay in bed.
Nathan, do you have a split in your bicep?
Where?
That right when it was back, like, yeah, under that light. That looks bad.
My arm, bro. Condition.
No cardio right there. That's it.
No cardio off season. Nathan, how's your weekend? What did you get up to?
Just got back from Paris. I was with Patrick and the Iain motor team, doing a few guest appearances. Long ass week, to be honest. It was good because I got to basically bite Patrick's ear off and just hit him with a shitload of fucking questions. You know, it's good to get everyone's knowledge. He was educating me on a lot of things and tweaking my training a little bit because obviously we're up there. The lads spoke French. I don't know where the French, and some spoke Italian. Patrick just kept it all English for myself. So I basically had like 4 days with Patrick. I barely trained, to be honest, all week. I barely ate. So that's why I try and fucking avoid all these fucking tours and shit, because I don't get to eat. And the guys know, you know, you'll go there, even though the companies know, you get a fucking continental breakfast and then you're working all day and you're trying to get food. So my weight went down a little bit over last week. But I'm back in the gym now, back pressing, getting back. But then I'm off again on Monday, unfortunately. So a week training and a week off.
Well, what were the gyms like in Paris? I know you said you hardly got to train, but what did you see there, I guess?
Garbage. Just
garbage.
Garbage. It was shite. The gym just shite. No disrespect. I went to one gym. Where the guy Theo trains. It was a good gym. The best out of the 3, to be honest. But you know, compared to my gym, it wasn't nowhere like mine. But I went to one called fucking, it was called Budget Fit or something it was called. It was fucking shit. It's like, I think 10 machines, they're all broke. They're all like the cheapest garbage machines ever. It was fucking shit. So I just thought, I'm not going to train. I'm probably at 3 times a day, so I'm not going to train, waste my energy. Got back, hit it hard this week, and then off to Italy on Monday. My strength took a little bit of a crash over the weekend, but I'm back up there, bro. Back up there. Got a target to hit before I go to Kuwait. Hopefully I can get that. Yeah.
When you said hopefully you can get there to Kuwait, do you mean?
No, I've got like, you know, I'm quite strong on benching. So my target I want to be able to get like 100 kilo again for like 8 to 10 reps on flat and incline. So, you know, on dumbbells, I got 80 today. 2 sets of 80 for like 7. So slowly creeping. Yeah. Not bad, right? Getting there. But it was
How much is that in pounds? Is that like 170?
150, I think.
No, it's more than 80. It's 176.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not too heavy, to be honest. But it's just because I fucked up prior. One of the lads passed it in, and it was like, because it was so sweaty and hot, it just fucking slipped. And I shit myself almost. I thought my bicep tore again. Shit myself and thought, fuck it. It's either do it or don't do it. So I just got under it again and just fucking bench the life out of me. But I just want to just get back up to 100 again and just get back strong, you know?
Just want to get back to the 220s.
Yeah.
Get back strong.
So have you done that before, Nathan? And how many reps, like for the 100 kilo dumbbells?
Oh, yeah. Normally, if I'm in prep and I'm hard training shit, I'm probably getting like fucking 100 kilo for like 9 reps, 2 sets to 9.
That's impressive, man. And obviously, like Brett said, that's 220 pounds. So it's like no joke.
On an incline or on flat or both?
On both.
Both.
Motherfucker.
Yeah. On both, man. So, but I like pressing.
Nathan, you just froze a little bit.
You're strong.
Froze there? Any better?
Yeah, I think you've cleared up now. So that's
yeah.
Man, that's crazy. Do you do your dumbbells in your gym go up by like once you get over like 60s or so? Does it go up by 10s or 5s, or how does it go up? Oh.
That's my gym. So I don't do 64 kilos, 68. I do 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. People complain because I'm in between, but I don't bench like that, so I don't give a fuck. You know, it's my gym. So I buy how I want to buy it in increments of 10, you know?
Yeah. Your connection's rough, Nathan. I don't know if you need to log in, log out, and log back in. I'm not sure, but it's gone a bit sketchy.
Yeah, it's like gone.
We've lost him. But guys, we'll do a bit of a preview. We'll get to that Chicago Pro. I was actually just going to ask you, Brett. It actually came back to me what I was thinking of. And you know how guys used to, back in the day, Arnold's day, all that sort of stuff. Obviously, I didn't get in as good condition as you guys do these days, but even a little bit after Arnold's era, like Samir Banu's sort of era as well, no one seemed to get the shredded glutes like they do now. Do you think that's because more guys take like aromatase inhibitors or, tamoxifen or whatever more so now than they did back then? Because like I've literally not been able to find any other reason. Or do you think it's more of a focus on glute development?
Honestly, I think it's a little bit of both. Like, I think it's a bigger deal now. And I think, in the 90s, early 2000s, it was all about like, you're not in until the glutes are in. That's the sign of conditioning. So I think that kind of changed the landscape of where we're at now. But also, I think we're crashing our estrogen way more than they were, just because, scientifically, we know the process is a lot more. We're probably taking more intense fat burners with like Clen, T3, things like that people take. But it's definitely, probably a little bit of combination of both.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think, Martin?
So I would say like yes and no. Like the drug thing, possibly. But they also took some drugs that were much more high quality than we took, like their trenbolone and stuff like that. So I wouldn't say it's as much drugs as two things that I really think it is one, leg development. Until the early 90s, legs weren't monstrous. And that's when you start to see really good development in those glutes and hamstrings. That's when you start to see the more striations and stuff as you get bigger muscles. So I think that's a big part of it. And then the other thing is no one really pushed conditioning that hard until Rich Gaspari. And once he got his glutes in and people could see that you could pull that kind of detail out of your lower body, then everybody started shooting for that. And I think that that's probably a bigger reason why is as one size came on, you're going to be able to get more detail. And then two, just showing one time, somebody doing it, just like Dorian bringing size for the first time. Rich was the first guy that brought glutes for the first time, and showing that you could out detail somebody that way, then people started shooting for that. But I mean, like Ronnie's a perfect example, man. By the end, his legs were so fucking big and his glutes were so massive that he had detail. I mean, literally into his hip bone, his glutes were striated all the way to his butthole. Like that's because the muscle was so big that it could push against the skin that much. And that, that takes size. So I think that's a huge part of it.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting to think about how there's some guys that have literally just changed the way people bodybuild. You like you mentioned with obviously Rich Gaspari, like he brought in the idea of getting shredded glutes. Like Andreas Munzer, like everyone's like, I want Munzer conditioning. Like Dorian, I want Dorian size. all that sort of stuff. So it's almost like how like Steph Curry like sort of changed the game of NBA. Like there's certain bodybuilders that have changed the game of bodybuilding with the different things on their physique. I feel like maybe we should either make a video on this about that and bring someone who's changed sort of bodybuilding, or maybe I do it separately, whatever. But sort of interesting to think about. And like there's some guys that have really left like a massive legacy. And there's guys as well in nutrition in terms of that sort of stuff too. Like Milos, obviously with the insulin, you've got Dave Palumbo, obviously with the keto diet and popularizing that, and sort of has gone out from, you know, from bodybuilding and sort of extended out to the mainstream. I think a lot of these things, and we don't even really realize it because we're so into the industry, but we don't realize how much it actually makes an impact outside the industry as well. So there's some interesting stuff like that. But let's talk a little bit about this Chicago Pro, which is coming out this weekend. I'll pull up the competitors list in just a moment. But there's a few names that have been added into it, including Antoine Vaillant, who competed this past weekend and actually took a point off Iain Valliere in the pre-judging as well, which I was a little bit surprised about. Antoine looked great, and he actually did surprise me. So credit to him. But I mean, Iain's obviously a top seven Mr Olympia competitor. So I was a little bit surprised because I thought he did make improvements as well, but he actually even lost a point at all. But what did you guys think, first of all, about the Vancouver Pro and you know, Antoine Vaillant taking a point off Iain Valliere? Brett, what's your thoughts?
See, I didn't even realize it was that close, and then until I watched your video last night. So where he was only 1 point away after prejudging. I guess, you know, just a mindset. And it also, you know, I didn't see it live or watch it during it. So it was more so I just thought Iain was going to take a handle. So it must have been a lot closer in person specifically than I thought so. So kudos to Antoine. You know, he still looked, you know, he still had some good size up there, you know, even though probably a little bit lighter, but he brought it all the conditioning there, and he looked good. You know, obviously I think he got out muscled by Iain in the majority of the shots, but his flow was good. You know, his posing was good. And it just looked like he was having a blast up there. So he'll definitely, you know, I think he'll be in the running this weekend. You know, it's going to be a little bit stiffer competition, meaning, you know, 1 to 4, 1 to 5 is going to be a lot more competitive than it was at Vancouver. But it should be for a good show this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're seeing Antoine here, because obviously he's got the legs and everything to match it up with Iain. And he does have a decent amount of muscle on the upper body as well. I think he just needs to spend maybe some more time just filling that out a little bit more, just to be, you know, fully conditioned. I don't know what he's doing there. But he was yeah, I mean, he was sort of surprised me. I thought he was actually going to be a lot smaller by some of his pre-contest updates, but yeah, he did impress me. And obviously he's a taller guy as well. So when he stands by himself in a gym, he's probably not going to look quite as big as someone who's, you know, 5'5" or something like that. So he was pretty impressive overall. What do you think, Nathan, of the Vancouver, Iain Valliere, and what Antoine brought to the stage?
Mate, Antoine was good. Iain didn't bring his best. He didn't need to, you know. Iain knew, you know, no respect to Antoine, 80% Iain would have won at Antoine anyway. You know, I was with Patrick over the weekend, so while Patrick was fucking, you know, getting Iain ready, I was seeing the updates anyway, and nothing changed for Iain really. He literally just went into the show as is, you know. He was confident on winning it. Patrick didn't change too much. So I think that in itself is a lot of confidence. I didn't know it was that close, but obviously if Iain would have bought Iain at 100%, then I reckon it would be obviously lights out. But he knew, you know, he didn't need to push nothing, because there's no need to. It's just a qualification, get a check, get to the Olympia, and that's the main thing. But, you know, Anton did outdo him on legs though, which Anton can't do most people on legs. His legs are freaky. And it was just, you know, that I believe that's Anton's best package he's bought today.
Yeah, you can definitely make an argument for it. I would love to see it under different lighting and with more competitors as well, just to see how close, I suppose, it was and how much Antoine really improved. Because looking here at this photo, like the front lat spread, Iain has a lot more mass overall, especially on that upper body. But legs-wise, like you said, you know, Antoine probably has the better legs, but Iain improved his legs as well. So I thought it was a all-time most complete version of Iain Valliere. But
Iain's legs are big, but they're just not. They haven't got that detail, them deep cuts like Anton's. So Anton's looks a little bit better, do you know what I mean? And like Iain's legs are just fucking big. He hasn't got them deep ass cuts, and you can see it in the pictures, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can see there.
For sure.
What I think is most impressive as you go through these photos, and I noticed this earlier, is that Antoine has a different facial expression on every single pose. Like, it's just every single pose is a different goofy facial expression. It's hilarious.
Have you guys seen Antoine compete in person?
Oh, he's a character, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, I stayed with him when I was with HD. We stayed in the same hotel. This
Oh,
dude he's one of the coolest guys I've ever been around, man. He is a character. He woke up at 6 a.m. He's got a monster speaker. He puts on like in the kitchen, like cooking his eggs. Like he's a character, man. I love Antoine, and just shout out to him because that's awesome for coming back and doing what he did. Personally, I watched some of it live, and I could have argued for him, to be honest. I think Iain was just too full in prejudging. At night, I think he dried up a lot more, and you could see a lot more detail in his physique. Like Nathan said, Iain's not super detailed or like super deep detailed, I guess.
Yeah.
His conditioning is insane, and when you see it in person, dude, his skin is like paper. So like, I know he was peeled, but I personally think that when he's a little bit flatter and the skin is a little bit tighter and the muscle's not so full, he actually gets a little bit more detail, and I think it looks better on him. So I kind of like, I liked Antoine's look versus Iain's at prejudging, but I definitely saw it being Iain's show just because he was so much bigger. But man, awesome job to both of them. And obviously Iain's like Nathan said, probably like, well, this was like an 85% peak, 90% peak. So I'm really excited to see what Iain's going to do here in the future as far as the Olympia, man. I really think he could probably crack that top 5 with the right things happening, but there's a lot of guys that are going to be cracking the top 5 or have the chance to. So this is going to be an interesting year.
Yeah, that's it. I think Iain was really good. So that's why I was surprised, I suppose, Antoine took a point off him. And the way, now correct me if I'm wrong, I mentioned this in my video, the way the judging works, if you have a score of 3 for a win, it means there was 5 judges and the high and the low was thrown out. Is that correct? Is that how it works?
Yes.
So theoretically that means that at pre-judging, most likely 2 judges had Antoine winning and 3 judges had Iain winning. Would that be right?
Yep.
So that's
pretty right. That's how I knew, but correct us if we're wrong in the comments.
Yeah, because that's pretty surprising, because it means literally, 2 out of 5 judges had Iain winning. Antoine winning at prejudging. Yeah. So it was a lot closer than I think everyone probably thought. Some people made the argument for Antoine as well. And I think everything that Antoine's gone through to get to this point, like a bicep tear, obviously going through his addiction issues and stuff as well, that's huge to overcome that and then come in second at this show and, take points off a guy who's 7th in the Olympia. So it's pretty impressive.
For sure.
But,
2 biceps too.
What's that?
Both. He tore both biceps.
Yeah, exactly. So he's been through some stuff. But let's get into the Chicago Pro. We've obviously covered Antoine pretty much there. But let's talk about some of these names. Here's the competitor list right here. I'll zoom in on a little bit on it so people can see some of the names we're talking about. We've got Tim Budesheim, Tonio Burton, James Culberson, Chris D. Domenico, Seth Engman, Jonas Giatris, Dorian Haywood, Matt Kuba, Andrea Muzi, Joshu, oh man, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Eric Ramirez, Manuel Romero, and Antoine Vaillant. So pretty decent competitor list. I'm glad we got the addition of Antoine in there as well. Obviously got Tonio and Tim that obviously wanted that Olympia qualification. And then we've got Dorian Haywood back in there as well. So got a whole bunch of added names to this lineup and sort of a mix of a few different ones. I think Nathan's trying to get back in here. Hopefully it's Nathan off an iPhone.
Who else would it be?
What's that?
Who else would it be?
It just always says Nathan.
Got a random coming in. Oh, he's doing his phone now. Turn it sideways.
I don't think you can hear yet. Hey Nathan, turn the phone sideways if you can.
What? Any better?
Yeah, here you go.
Much clearer. We're just going over the lineup. So pretty much just going to launch into the preview now and we'll discuss these names. So first one, Tim Budesheim. Nathan, you know him. Do you think he can come in and win this show? Because you have the likes of Tony Burton and Antoine in this one as well.
Nah, mate. He can't. I don't think he can beat Anton. I honestly don't. Mate, to be honest, after seeing Anton the weekend, I think this is Anton's show to lose. Personally, I don't. Even though the lineup's deep, I don't know. I've just got my faith back in Anton, so I'm gonna go with Anton all the way.
Yeah, I understand that, because it's hard to imagine a guy that comes in 7th at the Olympia, brings one of his better packages. I mean, he might not have been quite maybe as crisp or as sharp as some other packages, but it's hard to imagine that a guy that takes points off him will lose to Tim Boersheim. Even though Tim's, not saying anything negative about Tim, because Tim's a great bodybuilder, but he's not at that top 10 Olympia sort of level. So I think that, that's probably safe to say in my opinion, but you never know. Antoine could miss it somehow and Tim could sneak in there. But Brett, what do you think about Tim Boersheim? Do you think he's got a chance?
I'm glad to see him coming over. He, instead of just hanging it up for the year, see him compete again. I think he'll make some improvements. I think he definitely missed his peak a little bit here, especially looking at some photos now, but he could improve over these last few weeks and there'll be a good battle. I don't think it'll be enough to push him ahead of a few of the guys we'll mention, but I think he'll definitely be in the running for, top 4, top 5, right around there.
Yeah. Martin, what do you think about Tim and what he brought to that last show, and if he can potentially win or challenge here?
I think if he brings a better package than what he brought, obviously he's conditioned, just like we talked about. He kind of missed it from the back a little bit. I'm not sure what they need to do to fix that. But I think, like Brett said, he's anywhere from 3 to 5 probably in this show. I don't really see him cracking the top 2. There's some other guys that are just have a lot of potential here that I think we've seen do really well at shows that I think will edge above him. Yeah, for sure. Next guy, and I think this guy's definitely contender, is Tony Burton. He's looked really good this year. Like, this is his first sort of proper foray into the open, apart from doing the Legion last year, which you were in as well, Martin. Now, I thought he looked really good. I thought maybe he's been slightly overlooked at a few of the shows he's done this year. Thought he could have placed higher. Martin, I know you're a fan of Tonio as well. Do you think he can win this over Antoine? Because he's got a very dense, very, very impressive physique. This is hard for me to say. I have a ton of belief in this guy, and I think he has all the potential in the world. I do think he needs about 10 more pounds. But I also think if he's kept dieting really hard from Orlando and he's absolutely peeled out of his mind, and they peak him really well, I do think that he could battle, just because his balance and symmetry is awesome. That waist is tiny. I do see him in the top 3 probably. I want to see the rest of the lineup. I haven't quite looked at this, so I'm gonna need to look over it a little bit more, but I do think that he has a potential to win. Yeah, for sure. We'll assess it at the end anyway. Next guy, we've got Seth Engman in the lineup as well. I believe he came 5th last week. I don't think he'll be a factor in this one, just because the lineup this past week at Vancouver was obviously a weaker one. But I wanted to mention him because obviously he's one of the guys that will probably be in that top sort of 7 to 8 sort of placings. We've got Jonas Giatris as well, who came in 4th at this lineup. We actually all predicted him in 3rd place. I think we got the top 2 right. We just got Jonas 1 spot off. He's obviously here on the left. Do you think that he can sort of mix it up and come in that top 5, guys? I'll go to you first, Brett.
By the way, I was impressed with the guy that got 3rd last weekend. I never heard of him, but I think he's a 212 guy. Maybe, I don't know. He looks like he's around 212, so he could be. But I thought he was complete. He wasn't really missing anything. He was just super short in that lineup, Yeah. But Jonas will be, he'll be solid, like we said last week. He's going to come up there. He's going to bring that nasty conditioning. I think structurally he's going to have a little bit of issue against some of these guys. So, I'm not sure he'll be in the top 5, but he'll be battling it out, trying to get into that first call out. Yeah. I'd like to know how long he's been training for, to see, like, if he's been training for maybe 25 years or 20 years or something, it might be hard to make those huge improvements. But I know he's, someone told me he's 37 years old, but I saw something I thought I'd actually mentioned on a podcast, but he's 42 because Chris Aceto said something on a post, but he's actually, I think, 37. So he's not as old as we thought. So,
yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he can make those extra improvements to sort of solidify himself as a guy that's sort of contending in some shows, almost like I'd say like a Josh Wade, who used to just come in absolutely peeled to the bone and used to just sort of take out names based on just sort of his conditioning and just having that dense muscle. But Martin, what do you think about Jonas?
Yeah, I mean, I think he could crack top 5 again, just purely based off of condition. Again, like Brett said, just structurally, he needs more tissue to beat some of these guys to look as big as they do. Whether he's bigger than them or not, he's just a monster human. And that sucks for him, honestly, because it's just a big frame to fill. So I do think he'll do well, but I don't see him winning.
Yeah. Where do you see him fitting in, Nathan?
The guy said top 5. If on a good day, 4. If you guys come off, but I don't know. I was impressed with him on the weekend, but it wasn't something like I was blown away by. And like the lineup now is a lot deeper. So hopefully he gets top 4, top 5.
Yeah, for sure. Next guy, Dorian Hayward, who does tends to do a lot of shows. He competed earlier this year. He's had a bit of a gap. I'm wondering, I'll ask you first, Nathan, because you've obviously competed for more years than Brett and Martin. But like, obviously he's done shows at the start of a year. I believe he did anyway. And then he's had a decent gap. And then he's wanting to compete now. And then, obviously he's probably hoping to qualify for the Olympia. How hard is that on your body, sort of like really prepping sort of pretty much all year?
No, it depends. It depends if you're used to it. For me personally, I'm used to it. So I don't mind doing it. In his younger days, if he'd done it a lot, then his body would just adjust to it. It's the norm. But if he's not used to it, then I'd just pick one team and I just do it. For me, like I always set my goals to 2 or 3 shows. If it wouldn't qualify, then I wouldn't go chasing. You're having to push the supplements harder and harder and harder. It's not worth it. Set your goal for the beginning of the season or the end, and then obviously go to the Olympia, because let's say he qualifies now. He pushed at the beginning of the season. He's pushing now, and then he has to push again. When was it 19 weeks or something? So his body's going to be fucked. If he qualifies here, I can't see him bringing his best in December.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to open it up. Make sure that was actually him. Yeah, he's doing this show. I don't know if that's him right now. Those last updates that actually showed on the screen or not. I don't even know where it's gone now. Oh, here it is. So I don't know if this is recent or not, but if this is, it doesn't look to me like he's probably going to be in good enough condition. Says it posted 3 days ago, but I don't know if that's new or not. But yeah, I think he just needs to be in razor sharp conditioning, and probably needs a bit more legs. Brett or Martin, what do you think about Dorian? He's a pretty like fidgety sort of a poser. That's one thing I notice when he's on stage. He fidgets a sort of a fair bit, so it looks pretty intense, I guess. But Brett and Martin, what do you think? Do you think Dorian can mix up in the top 5?
So me and Martin know Dorian. He trained at Armbrust with us. So he there, that's where he lives. So we know, and you're right. He kind of does this every year, where he always does the first 2-3 shows. Typically does pretty well at one of them, and then I think he just tries to hang on to it too long. And then like shit starts flattening out. Like you see in this video, the quads are not. Legs look tired here. Legs tired. It's just I'm not a fan of that, as you guys know, of just trying to hold on all season long, because when you can go instead and make improvements. So I don't think it's a good call. I really don't. And I think I might be someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I think his plan was to do Tampa. And so what I'm thinking is like, he saw the lineup come out a few days ago and he was like, well, I'll just jump into Chicago. And that's not how you should approach it. If you're not ready, you don't just jump into a show because you see the lineup, so it should be interesting. I don't think he'll be in the top 5. Good luck to him, but it's not a good game plan.
Yeah. And you're very like methodical, because I know when you did that Chicago Pro, you did the Chicago Pro last year, obviously, placed second to Hunter Labrada, and you looked, comparable to him, and he placed 4th in the Olympia. So it said a lot about that look that you brought to the stage at that show. But everyone was sort of expecting you to go on and then qualify for the Olympia, and you sort of just shut it down and was like, I'm the bigger prize rather than just, another show. So obviously for you, it's the complete opposite to what Dorian actually does.
Yeah. And I'm going to continue to approach it that way, because I know I'm not where, even after the Chicago, I knew I wasn't where I wanted to be yet. I wasn't good enough yet. So it was about getting better. And then we decided to do the Arnold, in which, you know, I didn't peak like I wanted to. And then I could have kept competing. You know, I could have done those shows after Arnold, but no, I want to get better. I want to myself, I want to prove myself something. So I'm going to keep working until I get the physique I want to present. So that's what I'm doing right now. You know, there's going to be a time like, you know, maybe next year where I just do 2, 3, 4 shows in a row because I'm ready. And, you know, I want to do that, but I'm not there yet. You know, I want to make sure that I brought up the areas I want to bring up, and then I can present them accordingly. I think just always competing, you're not making improvements if you're spending the whole year competing.
Yeah. Do you have a certain level of excitement knowing that, you know, like people were so high and you're going to the Arnolds, and now you're going to have a certain percentage of people that are going to be sort of like, oh, you know, Brett's not going to nail it sort of thing. And then you have that opportunity to sort of prove other people wrong, I guess.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think about it every day, bro. Like I'm adding up the comments I get, you know, it's just like, you get those, you know that, Nathan, like you see that shit, bro. It's just like, just keep going. You know, I'm putting the work in, you know, we've all been there. We work silently, you know, every day, just get better. And then next stage appearance, show it off. So I'm excited.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Next physique update, not physique update, next competitor is Andrea Muzzi, who obviously placed second of that show to Andrea Presti as well. So he's sort of got a bit of momentum going into this one. I don't know if he'll get.
Is he qualified? Like, is he a point leader right now? Probably.
I'll check the points after this, but I think he's done a lot of this.
He's got a shit ton of points.
But you know, obviously how the Tampa, I don't know about the Chicago in terms of how many points you get for what sort of tier show it is, but some of them,
it's up there. It's one of the bigger ones.
I thought so, yeah. So I know Tampa, Chicago, those ones give a lot more points. So he's done a lot of the shows, I think, that give lesser points, that give the, you know, if you come second in, I think the show he came second in, you get 4 points. But if you come fifth in like the Tampa, you get 4 points as well. So it's sort of like, you know, it depends what show you're getting second to fifth in terms of points. But I know he's somewhere up there, but I don't know if he's even in the Olympic qualification bracket like that top 3 yet. So we'll have to wait and see for that. But he's definitely going to be a contender to qualify, whether it's on a win or points, that's for sure. But yeah, like his physique, I like his structure. I think that he can do well. I don't think he can actually win this weekend with the likes of Antoine in there and also Tonio and those names. Not saying, you know, if Antoine wasn't in there, I might say he's got a bit more of a chance, but I think he'll be in that top 5, definitely sort of contending and battling it out for points. That's for sure. Martin, what do you think about Andrea? Oh, sorry, Brett.
Was he at Orlando? Did he beat Tonio in Orlando?
In Orlando, I'd have to check that out. He possibly did, actually. He possibly did.
4th in Orlando.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. He did beat him. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, he obviously looks fantastic there. Like, you know, you look at the delts, look at the arms, he looks really complete. I think just when he gets on stage, a few shots look a little bit washed out. But overall, I think he looks pretty damn impressive. Martin, what do you think?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think this guy's a great bodybuilder. I think his body's probably about finished. Like we just talked about, man, you do show after show after show, you do flight after flight. You know, he's going back and forth between the States and overseas and stuff like that. Your body just starts to get wore out and tired. I think we're starting to get that point with his physique. And he's also got the Arnold UK coming up. So I see him being ran down and probably falling back a couple spots, honestly, because of it. I think he has a super impressive physique, but like Brett said, you know what we believe in. We'll do 1, do 2, and then go back and get healthy and focus on making improvements to win if you're not winning. So, you know, I just see him maybe even falling out of the top 5.
Yeah, he's got one of his physiques that if he misses it a little bit and comes in a bit flat, that he could really slip, just because his physique doesn't pop the same way. Like here, he looks really sort of like filling out the legs and all that sort of stuff and looks good. But if he's a bit flat and then just doesn't look like his physique's popping, he really just sort of, you don't notice him as much on stage. Nathan, what do you think about Andrea? Do you think he can win this show potentially?
If you asked me a few shows ago, I would have said yeah. Like the guy said, and he looks tired. You know, unfortunately, I'd like to see him win. He's a team member and stuff, but you got to be honest. Like, he looks awesome on pictures. Every picture looks great, but then, you know, coming to the show, he just doesn't it just doesn't crack it, and I can just see him just looking tired, and possibly that's it, falling out of top 5. I don't know. It's hard. I think Antonio will beat him because Antonio looks fresher. So there again, I'd say 5th maybe.
Yeah, I'm going to guess him around that spot as well. And here's a guy that I've seen him look really, really good before, Manuel Romero. But I don't know if this is a recent photo or video. This is 2 weeks ago. I just think that he's just not going to be in shape. I mean, not necessarily in shape, or not in shape or big enough. He looks like he's actually lost a little bit of size to me. What do you think, Brett?
I saw him compete a few years back. Thing is, he's very tall. So I mean, for a bodybuilder, he's probably 6 foot, 6'1" is my guess. So it's a lot of surface area to fill out. He's got good legs. He's got solid legs, big quad sweeps, but it's a very, like I said, very big surface area to fill out. And the structure is not going to be there against the shorter guys that are more muscular. So, he's a veteran, so he knows, he's a good poser. He'll be up there, but I'm thinking right outside the first call out, and that second call out is what I predict.
Yeah. He's one of these guys that I think shrinks right down, because this is apparently February 19th on the left here. You see he's obviously lost a bit and not in condition. He's the same weight on July 14th, obviously a lot more muscle and in better condition. So he obviously shrank down a fair bit and has made decent changes this year. And overall, you see the arms and shoulders and stuff like that looks pretty good here. But if this is, July 14th, I don't think he's going to be in good enough shape here to really do much to that top 5. Martin, do you see any way that Manuel pulls it in and does well in this show?
No, man. I mean, there's a pretty impressive lineup here. So I think I honestly didn't even know who this guy was until just now. Not to say anything against him, but I think right now with the lineup the way it is, you kind of need to be somebody has your name in people's mouths already, probably, to be hitting home runs, unless you come smoke people. And he, like Brett said, this guy's tall. He's got a frame that's not completely filled out yet. So
yeah, for sure. It looks like he got gyno in his off season and just got rid of it.
Honestly, man, I've had some clients that are like that. Sometimes people just naturally put a lot of fat around their nipples, and when they diet down, it actually just kind of goes away.
Yeah, that's weird, because you can't see.
Estrogen's higher in the off season too.
Yeah.
Sure, that's interesting. And then I don't know if that's it or not. If we've got one more. Oh, we've got Antoine, obviously, who we've talked about. So I'll go back to the competitors list and we'll do some predictions. Who wants to go first on this one? Do top 5. No one?
I'll go.
All right, you go first, Martin.
Yeah, so I'm going to put Antoine winning. I got Tonio in second. Probably Tim in third, honestly. Jonas in fourth.
Oof.
And Muncie in fifth, probably.
Yep, sweet. I'll go next because I feel like I've got a decent idea now. I'll go Antoine in first, Tonio in second as well. I want to pick Tonio in first, and I was going to pick him in first, obviously, before I saw Antoine's name was added. But just because Antoine took points off Iain, that's literally what I'm basing it off. Then I'll say Tim Budesheim in third as well. In fourth, I'll say Andre Muzi. And then in fifth, I will say, fifth one stuff. I'll say Jonas in fifth. Nathan, who have you got?
I'll have the same as you, bro, but I'll be nice and I'll put Dorian in fifth.
Yeah. Why is that being nice? Just nice to Dorian?
I'll be nice.
Yeah, I like Dorian.
Why the fuck are you being nice, Nathan? Since when does that shit happen?
Bro, time of the month.
Opposite time of the month.
Getting all compassionate.
No, I like Dorian, man. So I just I don't. Hopefully he can bring it, but I'll put him fifth.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Brett, who you got?
I think I'm literally just copying you here. I don't remember exactly, but I'll go. I think Antoine will squeak it by over Tonio. I really like Tonio, but sitting from here, but I think he'll show up a little bit more peeled this time, and they'll award him too. So I think Tonio's second. I think third's gonna be Tim. Fourth, Andrea Muzi, and then 5, Jonas. So I think that's what you said. The same thing.
Yeah, exact same. Cool. All right. Hopefully we're right. I want to discuss one more thing with you guys before we get on to the listener questions, and that's Michal Krizo joining, obviously, leaving the IFBB Pro Elite Pro League and then moving over to the NPC to compete to try to get his pro card, and then obviously to try to qualify for that Mr Olympia. I saw obviously it was posted up on I believe it was NPC News Online on Instagram. I'll pull that photo shortly of him with Steve Weinberger in their gym there in New York. And he obviously, we're seeing some photos of him emerge from fan photos that they're taking in the gym and all that sort of stuff. And he does look big, so it's not all photoshopped and all that sort of stuff like some people might think, or say he's not as big in person. And but he's obviously making that move over. And I'll go to you first, Nathan. What do you think about Michal Krizo and obviously making the move to the NPC and IFBB, and how do you think he'll do?
I think Michal's a fucking freak, and absolutely fucking just an inbred of a freak. Sorry, but he is. But obviously all the shit talk he spoke, it's going to be put to the test now, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I believe he's going to come, get a pro card, crack, win a pro show, and then I think this year he's probably going to get top fucking, even though everyone gets top 7 Olympia, I think he'll get top 7 Olympia. I honestly do. I know my top 7 in my head, yeah. But listen, the guy's a freak. The only way he gets put out of top 7 is if Ramy doesn't win it. If Ramy doesn't win the Olympia, yeah, and then obviously, then Ramy won't win it, then it'll either be, are you going to like Nick, when Ramy and Nick are the similar structure? And obviously, if Ramy doesn't win it, you're going for a more aesthetically pleasing guy. And then it's going to put the bigger guys near the end, like I've said in the past. But I think he's a fucking freak. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and plus I like him because he talks shit. He'll give it to everyone as well straight away. So I respect him for that. The only criticism I do have is that, can he get an IFBB shape though? He goes to the shows and he gets in shape, but he don't get crisp. Do you know what I mean? Compared to the top guys, he gets in shape, but he's not fucking peeled.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. He gets in. Yeah, he has varying degrees of conditioning. I've seen a few shows where he looks just sort of a little bit off the mark, but obviously still good enough to win in that IFBB Elite Federation. But then there's other shows where he actually looks decent conditioning in terms of, maybe could match it up with the IFBB Pro League, but I don't know if he's ever been in that really, really crazy conditioning. So that could be the one thing that sort of holds him back. But like you said, he's a freak, tons of muscle. He needs more back. That's one thing I noticed with him. But outside of that, he's reasonably complete. What do you think, Brett?
I'm just going to be completely honest here. People are downplaying it and stuff that like now he has to compete, whatever. But anybody from first to, like you said, 7 should be worried. He's the deal. The only thing, go back to his profile real quick.
Yep.
If you notice, like I said, world-class arms, probably the best arms going to be in the IFBB.
Yeah.
Great chest, amazing quads. But if you notice, keep looking. I've never even looked at his profile. I'm looking at it right now. He doesn't post any back shots. And that's what worries me. Because I finally saw, I think I was watching Trigili's video the other day, and Trigili was breaking him down, and he showed us on a stage photo. It's so weird. His back is like an amateur back. And this is something I've talked to with people in the past, but that also might be why his arms are so fucking good, is because I want to see him. Is he just using his arms on everything for back, and it just isn't growing his back? He only feels in his arms, because his arms are amazing, but his back is just not there. Like it's definitely, that's actually better than what I saw. Maybe I just saw it too, but it's still not up to par with the rest of his body. So his biggest thing will be that, he can't really improve his back now. He's going to be competing the next 2 months, but it's just, that moving forward. But I think, he can definitely crack the top 5 in the Olympia, if he makes it. But like Nathan said too, as you see here, the Olympia conditioning level, especially for a top 3, is a different level. So he needs to get a little obviously tighter, but the muscle is there, the symmetry there, the waist is there for how big he is. it's gonna be fun to watch, man. That's for sure.
Yeah, and like you said, his conditioning doesn't look like it's not dry. Like it looks like he's got the lines and all that sort of stuff, which is great, but it's just not that dry conditioning that you see from some of the IFBB pro athletes. Like you can see there's still a little bit more in that physique just to go. But Martin, what's your thoughts on Michal Krizo, and do you think he will be like Brett, a top sort of 10 Mr Olympia and a real threat?
I mean, if you know bodybuilding at all, you should definitely if you know bodybuilding, you already know this guy, right? And if you don't know bodybuilding, know this guy is a threat. Like this conditioning is decent, and if he can step it up just a hair from there, he really battle. The problem is he's never really been pushed hard. So I think that when he knows that he has to push hard, he could probably turn the jets on, to be honest. I mean, his biggest competition is Mika in the IFBB Elite League, and Mika weighs 220 pounds. So like the size difference there is like Michael's always going to win. It was never a question, right? They don't have a 212 division. They only had bodybuilding. So him stepping over is incredible. He's going to crack the top 10. I really have no question about that, honestly. I mean, if he shows up on stage like that, that's what he needs to do. He doesn't need to fill out nothing. The dude's a monster.
Yeah.
Unbelievably impressive, dude. So I'm actually super excited to see him come. And I mean, I think, like I said, I think you're an idiot if you don't think this guy's going to do well.
Yeah.
You just got to hope he gets sick. Hope he gets sick, bro.
Yeah.
I will do. I hope he gets sick, or some ninjas come and get him in the car or some shit.
Yeah.
Kidnap his ass for the week.
The dude's a freak.
He's not missing a thing there. There's not missing a thing. So it just matters how he compares on the back shots against, the Romneys, the Brandons, but like he's gonna beat everybody in leg development. Well, it'd be cool actually kind of see him next to Hunter on like the front poses, because it's kind of similar, but he has bigger arms and a way better chest. So it'll be cool.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see, because I think that taking his condition to the next level will really determine if his back is good and that low back sucks in and he really has low lats and stuff that look good, or if he really doesn't have that great of a back. Obviously, his back is not going to be that good, because I can tell you right now by looking at his arms, he's very similar to Hunter Labrada, and that's why Hunter had such a hard time building his back for the longest time. Is every single row he did it with his bicep. Brett and I trained with him multiple times, and we watched it, and we watched him change his training completely to try to eliminate that. So, I mean, Michael could do the same thing, but I guarantee you that's part of the reason why his arms are so freakishly big.
Yeah, you're probably right too. And it's funny because his forearms don't look overly huge as well. So it's a lot, whatever he's doing for his arms, going straight into his arms and not so much his forearms. But yeah, you can tell he's enormous there. Like he's got just so much muscle. The only other area that I was maybe, not concerned, but just like wondering about, I did see some photos, and I'll try to find them. I'm actually doing another video comparing him just side by side to see structurally how he compares with sort of like Nick Walker and Big Ramy. But when he does a front double bicep, when you see him next to some of the other, even with some of the elite guys, you see just through the chest midsection, and then obviously you notice it more when he stands next to other guys, that the back doesn't really come out as much, and you don't see that sort of depth when you see slightly angled photos like this to his lats, that he's just missing a bit through here. And when he stands next to like obviously Nick Walker, who's got those really thick abs and obviously not as aesthetic as Michal and all that sort of stuff, but guys that have those sort of more developed chests and abs that are a little bit more crisp, I reckon it will sort of show up a little bit. But obviously he's got the arms and then the crazy quads to offset it as well. But that's one area that I think we might see and go, oh, okay, well, he's not standing out as much on stage because he does have those sort of like flatter abs, which I do prefer over someone who's got, a bigger waist and bigger abs. But obviously, what sort of makes an impact on stage sometimes, isn't those sort of flat abs as much. But does anyone think that could be a potential issue for Michal, or do you think that he's just got so much muscle everywhere else that it won't be a factor? I'll go to you first, Brett.
No.
No, I mean, it not just matters on how he peaks too sometimes, on if they're a little washed out or not, or if they're in. So if he, like I said, like we all said, if he just steps up that next 3-5%, which it's the, you know, if he gets to Olympia, it's the fucking Olympia. So you know, they need to do it. It'll be nice to see. I don't think the thing is, like, I don't think he'll be a 1, 2, or 3 yet, because it's your first Olympia, you know, they just, that's just not how it works. But it'll definitely open some eyes and take some people's placing. So they better be ready for their lunch money.
Do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Dennis Wolf when he came in at about 5th at the Olympia, and he's chasing Jay Cutler around the stage at even the Posedown. I don't know if you guys remember that, but Dennis Wolf was working with Milos Sarcev at the time, and it's like I suppose the one show where he really sort of established himself, and he looked absolutely huge, and he's sort of like probably in similar conditioning to Krizo is here, maybe a tiny bit harder, and it's sort of, his physique actually reminds me a little bit of Krizo's as well, just with those, you know, wide shoulders, big sort of arms, really round quads. So he's sort of a Dennis Wolf sort of type in a way. And same as Dennis Wolf, he was sort of criticized for his back a little bit earlier in his career, but Dennis, I think, still, you know, he developed his back really well in the end. He just still had those higher lats. But I think that you know, like, I think if you, as long as you got the back and the waist is small, I think it looks good. Like Nathan, some people said about you online, you've got higher lats and all that sort of stuff, but I think it's, honestly, I think it's like a pretty cool look. You know, I'd rather that with the small.
Yeah, man, of course, I've got it. So it's good. Of course, it's a good look. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, bro. Fuck yeah. You know, it's, you know, you gotta work with what you got, you know. You hear people saying, oh, do this exercise, it'll pull your lats down. Listen, it's insertions. Once it's there and you're born with it, it ain't fucking moving. That's just, you got to deal with what you've got. Do you know what I mean? It's just the way it is. But no, man, like, I was hoping for a long time this motherfucker never come over to the IFBB, to be honest. Now you have this motherfucker coming in this year in the Olympia. You'll have Derek Lunsford coming over. People are fucking losing money. People are losing money. And that's just the way, you know, the way forth. But me, like, I'm pretty confident in beating most people, you know, and I beat most people in the line, in the top 5, top 6. But I ain't beating this cunt. No way, bro. I'd be fucking, you know, this is one person, because, you know, even though he's a lot bigger than me, you know, physique-wise, he's similar. He has a small waist. He stands like me. He can probably beat my fucking front lats, Brett. Hopefully he doesn't. But, you know, the guy's, you know, fucking freaky. And I believe, you know, a lot of European guys can suffer, and you can see that in the, you know, in the conditioning. And we're known to suffer because in Europe it's a lot more conditioning. And I think, like Brett said, he hasn't been pushed, yeah. And I think he knows he has to make a statement. So I think his coach and him will push himself. And, you know, if he wins a good show, I wouldn't say no for him getting top 3. I wouldn't say, and that's personally that's honest, you know. The guy's got everything. Yeah, I like his physique more than Rami's. Rami's my friend. I like it more than, you know, more than Bonnac. Bonnac's my friend. I like the guy just like his physique. It's just, to me, it's bodybuilding. Obviously, he has weak parts in his back and that, but just looking at him, especially from the front, he's got everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Does anybody know his age?
I have no idea. I'll look it up while we're talking, though.
He's European. He's going to lie. He's like an African. He's going to lie. Say he's fucking 12.
I'm 22.
I don't know, man. His muscles look pretty fresh when you look at him. Like, you know, when you see a physique and it looks still fresh. Like, he's made some pretty...
His muscles look like 29. His face looks like 55.
Yeah. You see that a lot with the white dudes, eh? But that's just the way it goes. But yeah, he's obviously going to make a huge impact. I can't wait to see him compete and just to see sort of where he lands in the IFBB Pro League, because we all assume obviously he's going to be getting that pro card and you know, accomplishing that.
Are they giving him the pro card? Are they giving him it?
No, he's not going to compete. Can you imagine him on like a qualifier stage, standing next to like this, like a local show, just standing next to a bunch of the local competitors?
Oh man, it would suck.
What's the deal, though? Brett, what's the deal? Are they giving him a pro card, or has he got to earn it?
No, he's got to go do. He's like, that's what I mean. That's why I don't think he'll be 100% Olympia, because he still has to. He has to win a local show or just a regional. Then he has to go pro, and then he has to win a pro card. So he has to do 3 shows leading up to Olympia. So he's not, you know, it's just going to be all about peaking. You know what I mean? That's all it is.
So this is where, like, people like him I wouldn't be offended for this motherfucker to get not an invite to the Olympia, but I wouldn't be phased to give him a pro card right off the bat. We've given one before away anyway. You know, what was it in the early 90s? We've given one away. But this motherfucker, he's pro, bro. Like, just put him in the fucking pro league right away. I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say no to him, you know, and I don't see because if you look at it, right, he's gonna go to all these shows and he's gonna win somebody and he's gonna take somebody's pro card anyway. When they give fucking 60 away a year, anyways, just give the motherfucker one. Just give him one.
Yeah. No, I think there'd still be bodybuilders that have an issue with that. Brett, what would you be upset if they just gave him a pro card?
I think he needs to get his pro. I think he needs to be. I don't think he needs to do like a region, you know, a qualifier for the national stage or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think he at least needs to do a pro qualifier. So be it North Americans or what, I don't know what his plans are, but I think he still needs to do that. And then I think that's what their plan is. He's going to do that and then go right into a pro show. But I want to give him a pro card. We can't start doing that.
Yeah. What's your thoughts, Martin?
I mean, let him go win a card. It's obvious that he's going to win one. I mean, I understand what Nathan is saying. But also, like, I kind of think, like, it's just paying respects to the IFBB Pro League. For one, the motherfucker talks so much shit. Maybe it's maybe he should have to do a regional and a qualifier, then win his card, you know? He was over there for the last 3 years talking about how we suck and it's not worth it, and he could kick all of our asses. So that's just payback for all of that. But no, I he's gonna go do like an Arnold Amateur, win his pro card. They talked about, he said he's gonna do the Prague show is his plan. So it'll be interesting to see how things go for him, man. I think he'll do very well, and I think like maybe some of us other guys will avoid Prague because of this fucking guy.
Don't Prague give pro cards away? I'm sure Prague give pro cards away.
Yeah, he might do that. Maybe he'll win the day before and top into or something.
I think Prague give pro cards away. I'm pretty sure.
That's definitely, I mean, I would assume that's what his plan is to do something along those lines. And he can definitely do that. I mean, he could win his pro card the day before, like at an Arnold, how they let you do that sometimes, and win the open show the next day. I mean, that's definitely he's capable of that.
Yeah, they love doing that over in Europe, and they used to do it in Australia as well with the Arnold Classic, and they had the amateur, and then literally it was like 4 hours later they went from that straight to on a pro stage for prejudging. So, which is pretty crazy. That's how Josh Ladowitz started. Actually, he did the pro qualifier, won that, then literally walked straight over to the other venue, walked in there, started pumping up, and then he's on stage. So it's pretty whirlwind sort of a thing when they do that sort of stuff. But I believe they have a pro qualifier there, so I reckon they'd probably just make him do a pro qualifier. I don't think they'd make him do a regional, surely, because we all know what will happen. Just dominate, and it's just literally just to go do it, but who knows. But yeah, overall I think he's going to do very, very well. But let's get on to some questions from Instagram first. The first one says, this is from James Motu_fit. He says, growing up, what was your favorite sport you played and why? I'll go to you first, Nathan. I think I know what it is.
Football, bro. Real football.
Soccer.
Football.
Soccer.
Where you kick the ball. You kick the ball with your foot. So it's called football.
American football.
Not throw ball.
Man, mine was one you guys would. Have you guys ever seen Australian rules football?
What?
Have you seen Australian rules football? AFL?
Never.
Yeah, boy.
You've seen it, Martin?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah? So.
Oh, yeah. I really like it. So we had a foreign exchange student when I was in high school. And like they taught me all about rugby and like the differences between that and rugby, and how like the league is a little bit different as far as that goes. And then we would watch the AFL and then like kick the crap out of each other. I mean, it's cool, man. They're rough.
Yeah, so obviously like over here we've got rugby. So we've got rugby league, rugby union, and then you've got AFL, which is Australian rules football. So they're all sort of mean, rugby league and rugby union are all pretty similar, but I'll find some AFL stuff so you guys can actually see what it's like. But it's huge over here. Like our stadiums, like because we have weekly games like the NFL. It's not like NBA where there's games every second day. And yeah, the crowds are huge, man. Like we've got one stadium here that gets 110,000 people in it, and when we have our grand final, which is like the one game that it comes down to, that sells out like crazy quick. And my team hadn't won a premiership, is what we call it, like, or a grand final, since 1982, and I wanted to go over and watch it. The tickets were, each ticket was 5,500 to get it on resale, and then the flights were crazy. And I was like, this weekend's going to cost 20K. So I was just like, nah, fuck it. I left it, and because we were the underdogs too. So, but we ended up winning it, and it was crazy. There's like always people in the crowd crying and all that sort of stuff because we've been just so shit for so long. So yeah, that's probably my main sport that I love. But it's one of those things that if you come to Australia, you go to an AFL game just because the atmosphere is just so good. But Brett, what about you?
Oh, I'm through and through American football.
Yeah.
I think that's the main sport over here, as you can tell now, and now that's even spreading across the world with games and stuff. But that's always been the main thing. I'd be involved with that if I wasn't competing right now.
Yeah, it's funny. Like in Australia, like I feel like it's become more popular. Like the main sort of American sport in Australia would be NBA, because basketball's reasonably popular here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say NFL is definitely a close second, and more people are getting into it, I think, because the Super Bowl's always been on TV, like, you know, just free to air TV here. So everyone sort of becomes an expert once a year, like for one day a year on NFL, and talks about it like they know the game when they like watch one game a year. But yeah, it's sort of become bigger, and I've gotten sort of into it a little bit, but mostly just because of betting, not really so much because I just absolutely love it. And yeah, I just always sort of followed the NBA, and with the NBA games like 2Ks and stuff like that, you just learn the players easy, and then yeah, just fully got into that. But yeah, it's interesting out here that like which sports are getting bigger and which ones aren't. So Martin, what about you? What was your sport? Same?
So mine was two, really. So growing up, my dad put me in wrestling when I was 3. So I started wrestling from the beginning, and really that was like my first love all the way until I was like 14 or 15. And then I started playing football consistently on a good team instead of like peewee teams and stuff. And really like got to shine through. And then football like really became my full love in high school. And like my plan was to go play college football and stuff. And I ended up doing track. So, I mean, I had a plethora of sports. I would say that football is probably my favorite, but wrestling for a long time was my very favorite. And it also, like, I owe a lot of my mental development to wrestling. It made me, like, way, way more competitive, able to handle, like, tough situations, put the pressure on just me type of things.
Yeah, for sure. I'll pull up this video from... This is like old school AFL, because back in, I don't know what it was like with NFL back in the day and different sports, but back when AFL was like in the 70s and 80s and stuff like that, there was very few cameras. So there'd be players, you know, behind the ball. It wasn't uncommon for someone to be punching you up in the ribs and in the kidneys and all that sort of stuff, just to sort of put your opponent off. So it was a pretty rough sort of a game. But now there's so many cameras. If you do that, you get suspended for however many weeks. But this guy is a commentator now in the AFL, and basically he just goes completely mental at the umpires. Like he like there's videos of guys like pushing the umpires over and fighting them and all that sort of stuff. So, but this guy's sort of like one of the characters, but he goes up to the umpires and basically says he's going to punch him in the face and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, it was a pretty intense sort of a sport. But yeah, he's celebrating before he even kicks the goal. So basically, like you've got like the sticks. So if you kick between the middle, you get 6 points. If you kick it either side, you get 1 point. And basically the sort of end of a game is like, yeah.
Yes.
I love
You
it.
get like 3 points or something too for running it across, right?
No, that's rugby. So rugby's like rugby's the one where basically you got to run it across the line, and then AFL is one where you got to kick it between the sticks. So in AFL, you've got like a handball, which is the way you pass it with your hand. So you've got to basically hold the ball in your hand and then like punch it out of your hand, or you have to kick it, because if you throw it, then it's like a free kick or a penalty against you, sort of thing. But that's why I like NHL, because NHL they just literally they let them just beat the shit out of each other. Like it's like almost like a
yeah, kind of. There's rules to it, but yeah.
Yeah. But it seems like they beat the crap out of each other, and then they just go, okay, you both got like 5 minutes, like, you know.
Yeah.
Penalty box.
Yeah. So I think that's cool.
They give them fines and stuff now, but it's not like hardly anything.
It's not enough to deter them from actually doing it if they want to punch someone.
Yeah. But they fight so much less in hockey now, bro. Like early hockey used to be so much better because they used to beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah. When you see the biggest hits and stuff,
they would have designated players that weren't even that good. They would just be fighters. They'd be out there. Yeah, their role was to protect the best. Like Wayne Gretzky, he had pretty much bodyguards. Two guys would just make sure that no one would fight Wayne. They would just fight everybody. That's all it was.
Oh, that's so cool. But yeah, I understand why I don't do it now, because obviously it's like a massive legal thing as well. They have to at least be seen to be, you know, trying to crack down on it because all the like head injury stuff and all that. So
and society as a whole has turned into a bunch of pussies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well said.
That's it. I'll bring up these questions again. We'll get on the next one. This is from Stefan Avuka, who's a really nice guy. Oh, he actually says thoughts on Krizo joining the IFBB and Phil Heath commentating the O. So we'll answer that second part of the question. What's your guys' thoughts on Phil Heath commentating the Mr Olympia this year? I'll go to you first, Nathan.
I think it's sick, bro. You know, for Mr Olympia, someone who isn't died out. You know, he's still in his prime, giving his opinion. And Phil doesn't hold no punches anyway. You know, obviously, Sean's a bit of a fucking pain in the ass, but, you know, Phil, when he says something, he doesn't say it in a bad way to knock it down. He'll put it in like a positive way, but like, look, this guy's good. He couldn't prove his back, to where Sean like, yeah, his back's shit. You know, I think Phil's better with words. Do you know what I mean? And plus, it gets to show people that Phil's not a cunt. Because for some reason, all of the society and like, you know, the new generation of bodybuilders think Phil's a cunt when he's far from it.
Yeah. I think the thing is, from an outside perspective, is Phil would respond to some people online, and I guess they came across as like 15-year-old kids, and then he was pissed off at them, and people were like, see, I'm triggering him. And people just got that, I suppose he just had that persona of like, oh, he's being a dick to this guy, even though the person would just be antagonizing to try to get that response. And I think it just sort of painted him in a light where what he was saying was reasonable in response, but people just sort of saw his response and that was it. And that sort of
but if you're take me, bro, it's like if someone's a cunt on your post, be a cunt back. You know, that's what. I know the air is. Oh, you're an IFBB Pro. So fucking what? Before I was a pro, I was a man. You know what I mean? Give respect, and I respect your back. When I be a cunt, I'll be a cunt to you, and that's all. Yeah. That's all Phil done. Do you know what I mean? But I think it's a good thing. You know, I think he'd be a great commentator, and it shows that, you know, he's changing his perspective in life. He's going forward with things, and there's none of this is Phil coming back, because, you know, he's made it clear I'm doing a commentary, and that's it.
Yeah, and I think as well, it's much more accepted to actually talk back to fans now than it was maybe when social media was sort of like Phil was winning Olympias, because back then, I mean, obviously you're still going to get a spray for it and all that sort of stuff if you say the wrong thing on social media or whatever. But yeah, I think it's much more accepted because Phil was really copying a lot. And obviously because he was the Mr. Olympia and responding, I think because like when you're at that level, fans that aren't maybe antagonizing go, why would he even bother with that person? Why would he bother? But it's just because he wanted to, I guess. So, but anyway, Brett, what do you think about Phil commentating the O?
I think it's the best fucking thing the Olympia could have done, man. Yeah, absolutely. You know, the only criticism he's going to give is constructive criticism. He's going to break down the show, you know, especially with his mindset. You know what? He's going to give examples of what he did, you know, things like that. It's going to be beautiful. You know, he did the Boston show, wasn't it? And he did a great job.
Yeah.
He's going into the next phase of his career, and a lot of that's public speaking, you know, leadership things, you know, business things. So it's like, this is what he does now. And I think the Olympia should maybe try to do a contract with him to keep this on for years to come, because it's only going to be great for the sport, and it's going to be great for the people viewing at home. So they had a home run with that. I'm happy for him. Phil's actually I consider him a friend, so I'm happy that we still get to see his involvement in the sport, and it's going to be a great thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Martin, what's your thoughts, and what do you think of, I don't know if you saw Phil actually commentate the Boston Pro or not, but if you did, what do you think of that?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think this is awesome. Like Brett said, I mean, Phil's going to give some of the best constructive criticism there is. I mean, we get to hear one of the best bodybuilders talk about bodybuilding. That's going to be awesome. My only criticism is going to be from the Boston Pro Show, and it was that he didn't know really anything about the athletes that weren't like guys that he had competed with or guys that he'd already probably watched compete. So obviously he just needs to do his homework before the Olympia and know each guy and have a little bit to like say about him. But otherwise, dude, Phil's gonna hit this out of the park, home run this. Like, it'll probably be one of the best live streams that they've ever had for commentary wise, man. I mean, Phil is one of the most intelligently spoken guys that I've spoken with. I mean, Brett and I've gone to dinner with him multiple times, and you start talking with Phil and you're like, damn, how many degrees do you have? Because you're smart as hell, man. So like it'll be great for the sport, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. And Phil's one of those guys as well. I think he's better like just when nothing's pre-planned. Like when he actually was doing a YouTube live video once a week for a little bit pretty recently. And that was like the most I've enjoyed actually listening to Phil Heap talk, because it was just off the cusp. People were asking questions in the comments and he was just straight answering them. And it was the most real, I suppose, like, because some people have thought that Phil maybe sometimes thinks too much about what he's answering and all that sort of stuff, or what he's saying on social media. But this is just him straight raw talking, giving his honest opinion. And it was really, really cool. So hopefully he continues to do those YouTube lives and gets them back up and going again, because that was sort of the most real and honest I've heard Phil Heath. And I think it's cool when he speaks like that, because in person, I've spoke to Phil only once, maybe twice, when he's out in Australia. And he was just, super chill. We weren't even talking about bodybuilding. We was talking about our dogs and stuff. I don't even know how we got onto it, but he was just a real person having jokes and he said something like, because I had a decent camera at the time, and he goes, you know how to actually use that? Or like, is it like, like porn star with a huge dick not knowing how to use it? And I was just like, oh man, I didn't know how to use it. And we're just having a joke around and stuff. So I think people get the wrong perception. Like you said, Nathan, some people think that he's a cunt based off some things maybe he's just said online. And it's sort of is a harsh assessment. And I think anyone that's sort of met these people or been around them sort of have a different perspective on what they're actually like. So I think it'll be cool. We'll get to see more of Phil, and I think it'll earn more fans as well from doing this too. But should I get all your guys' opinions on Phil commentating?
Yep.
Yeah, I think I did. Cool. Next question is, how many days do you all train? How important are rest days? I see some saying they train 6 to 7 days straight. Nathan, how many days do you train?
Normally 4 to 5, but because of obviously my fucking biceps here, I'm behind a little bit, so I'll have to push training to 6 days a week. I don't really like doing that, because I recover faster anyway, but I don't like it because I like to fucking have 2 days off to fucking do it at once. But right now I'm 6 days, not fatiguing or nothing. But ideally on the off season, I'll do 4 to 5 pre-contest. I'll do 5 solidly, and then the last 3 or 4 weeks I'll do 6. So it depends on the time of the year and stuff, and what phase of prep I'm in.
Yeah, for sure. Brett?
Definitely think at least 5. I think that's the magic number, 5 to 6. Like Nathan said, deep in the off season, be more 5 because you need more recovery. You're bigger, you get more broke down. On prep, you a little bit more enhancement going on. Plus, you're trying to cut down weight, so more about probably more. We do a lot more 6 and during prep, but that's the magic number. 5 to 6 days is for sure. Never do 7. I don't know why. Don't ever at least get 1 full rest day. Get away from the gym. I think that's a lot of mistake. Especially these younger kids are making is train. But they're not growing because they're not allowing themselves to recover and grow. So make sure you're at least getting that 1 to 2 days out of the gym.
Yeah. What about you, Martin? What's your sort of ideal?
Yeah, my sweet spot's 5, man. I like to have like a Wednesday and a Sunday off. So I like to do about 2-3 days of training, rest, 2-3 days of training, depending on what I did before, and then rest. In the off season, I ran 4, and I actually really enjoyed that too, man. I felt like I made a lot of progress because I was willing to actually take a step back and recover more than I was doing in the past. But also, if you're going to do 4 days a week, you better be training your fucking balls off on those 4 days.
Yeah.
So,
how long
you know,
are those workout days?
I mean, it was still probably about a 2.5 hour session, but it's just like, just beating something absolutely to death, man. I mean, when we were doing back with Brian Dobson, we're doing 10 exercises at 3 sets, 4 sets a piece on each exercise. So like by the end of it, it's like you need 7 days to recover because you're fucking you can't even do anything with your back again for 4 days, and then it takes 3 days to be able to roll it out and get it stretched out to just be back to feel like you want to do something again. I mean, legs is the same thing, man. I mean, there was times that it was like we would go to do legs again with Brian, and I'd be like, God damn, I feel like I trained legs yesterday. My shit's so sore. So I mean, I think if I at that point in the off season, if I would have been training 5 days a week, I think I would have probably regressed because I wasn't eating enough to recover with the 4 days a week. So how could I eat enough to recover with 5 days a week? So it was beneficial to do that, but I do think that sweet spot is probably 5 days a week most of the time.
Yeah. Next question is from Ant H on YouTube. Says, what would you do to help weak body parts in a cut? My arms disappear in a cut. So I'll go to you first, Brett. What's your opinion on that?
I mean, if you're already in a deficit, you're kind of going to be fucking yourself anyway. So you didn't do enough in the off season to bring them up. Not saying you can't at least maintain or maybe slightly build. The only things you can really do there is if you have high days, stretch your high days for your arm days, or add more frequency and, you know, do 2 arm days a week or add in some arms after, you know, say chest or back. But it'll be more so just about maintaining if you're in a prep. That's what I've seen with myself or anybody I've worked with. So you worry about growing them when you have a caloric surplus or high days.
Yep. Nathan, what's your opinion on trying to maintain body parts or improve them during a cut?
Bro, Brett just answered for everyone, I think. There's not more we can say. Brett just killed it in one.
Yeah. Martin, do you have any extra advice?
No, man, like Brett said, the muscle's just not big enough. Like your arms weren't as big as you thought they were, and they shrunk because they're small. So go grow them. As much as it sucks, man, that's how it works. Like sometimes I've thought like, damn, I fucking put a ton of tissue on my chest, and then I dieted down last year and my chest still sucked. It's like, well, still, I guess I need to go get a bigger chest, man. That's all it is. As much as it sucks, as part of the game, you know, you get water and glycogen in there, it looks good. You get flat and depleted, you realize it's not as good as you thought it was. So go put on some more muscle. That's all there is to it.
Yep. Now I know there's some coaches out there and there's some people that do this as well, and they'll say, you know, while you're prepping, I know some people use insulin while they're prepping, and we're not recommending people use insulin or anything like that, but there are guys that would use insulin on weaker body part days to try to either volumize them or keep them while they're prepping or whatever. Do you think that's an all helpful, I suppose, technique to use during prep, or is that something you've done? Go to you first, Nathan.
I haven't used insulin since I was younger, to be totally honest. You know, fucked around with it when I was like mid-20s, just to see what the whole fucking shenanigan was really. But as a pro, I've never really used it, so I can't really quote on that, to be honest. And I've asked to go on it several times, but my coach keeps telling me no, so, you know, I'll stick to what I'm told. So unfortunately, my advice on that, you know, isn't the best. But the experience how I did insulin were fucking weird as fuck. So it's not something that I like go for now, but I think if you know what you're doing, give it a go.
Yeah. What about you, Brett?
Well, I think that still comes down to, I mean, if you're in a prep, you're going to be overall in a deficit. So yeah, you can try to use some insulin with your higher carb day if it's an arm day, but then the rest of the week you're going to be in the deficit flattening everything else anyway. So if you're going to do it in the off season where calorically you're in a surplus all week, maybe do extra on your arm day with extra insulin as well to push the nutrients into that muscle. But like I said, you're still screwed in your prep.
Yeah. Martin, do you think that's an all feasible thing to do during a prep?
Look, man, insulin is a great tool. That's something it's really not going to do that much for you. What it's going to do is you're going to shuttle a bunch of glycogen into that muscle. That's great. It's going to look awesome for 3 days. And when that glycogen and water goes away, it's still a small arm like it was before. Yeah, and just like Brett said, and like I said before, it's still a small muscle. But I do think that using insulin on weak body parts is a very, very wonderful technique to bring them up. But that happens in the off season, not in prep. Now, insulin for prep, I think, is a wonderful tool to manipulate your blood sugar and be able to have maybe really, really low days and then be able to handle a massive amount of food to get this crazy metabolism spike, and be able to shuttle all that, and really more as a health benefit versus using it as a drug, versus you're just taking some stress off the pancreas. I mean, us big guys, you eat 1,200 carbs in a day, like that's hard on your pancreas, especially if you do it 2 or 3 days in a row, which some of us guys that have to eat crazy amounts of food, like that happens. So, I mean, like Nathan said, all three of us have crazy metabolisms. It's probably possible for all three of us to use that in those situations, but it's not necessary in any way, shape, or form. I think it's a tool that you can use if you're very, very intelligent and you know what you're doing. It's plausible. Otherwise, just stay away from it.
Yep. Next one is from Jay Thor on YouTube. Says, has anyone had hernia surgery? If so, how long you waited with training? Maybe some experience from friends or something. Then it says units and nandrolone may help for fast recovery. So I don't know what he means by units, but we just slipped that one in at the end. But has any of you guys had hernia surgery?
Yeah, I did. I'm probably the only one here.
Umbilical? I've had umbilical.
Yeah, so I had an umbilical.
Oh, really?
Oh. All right, well, Nathan can talk about it more than everybody probably, but I'll go first just on mine's quick and easy. I was born with a navel umbilical hernia. I lived with it for 4 years, Brett, until I got it fixed with you. And I got mine fixed mostly for aesthetically pleasing reasons. But it was a 6-week recovery of no pure core training. I was back to train in 4 weeks, Brett?
Yeah, 4 to 6 weeks for sure.
Yeah, we were back to 4 weeks, and then 6 weeks was finally when I could train chest again, but that was because I got gyno surgery. So really about 4 weeks, and then it was just minor core load and starting to work into things. My only recommendation, if it is a navel hernia, is when you get back to try to really focus on core strength and really getting mind to muscle connection back. That was something that I didn't do a ton of. I got the strength back, but some of my mind to muscle connection was a little funky, and it junked up a lot of my posture. And I had to do a lot of chiropractic work and stuff to fix that and get my abs scraped and all sorts of things to get that tissue to loosen up and finally get back to normal.
Yeah, it's a funny one. I'll quickly go as well, because I had hernia surgery on mine, and it was weird because did you have the mesh put in, Martin?
I did not, dude. Mine was about a size of a quarter, and they put 3 stitches in.
Yeah, because I had the mesh put in, unfortunately. So I just had to explain to me and said, oh, this is what we do. This is how we have to do it. And I was like, oh, well, that's what you got to do. And then I said, would it leave any sort of would you be able to see it? And he goes, nah, no way, you won't be able to see it. But when I got comp lean, if I was to do bodybuilding again, if I pulled into a front double bicep and pulled my abs up, you would see literally a circle of mesh. But because I sit on my abs and do physique, obviously you can't see it. But when I actually did physique for the first time and I won, I had my arms up on stage and you could still see a light circle around my whole belly button. I was just, I was pissed off, because it's not like you just take that out. The mesh forms to the muscle and everything like that. So if you were to take it out, it'd be probably pretty traumatizing. So I was pretty pissed off, man, because it's very expensive here, but unfortunately we've got pretty good health coverage in Australia and the insurance is really cheap. So they're like, well, you can get it done now. It'll cost you $9,000 or something. And I was like, okay, that's decent. Or you can get health insurance and have it for a year. And after that year, then you're able to get it done for $500. So the health insurance was like $40 a month or something, waited a year and did it $500. So that was the way to do it. But I had it done through apparently the best guy at it and all that sort of stuff. But the mesh thing really pissed me off. And I've heard actually since then that they're actually recommending you don't get mesh anymore, because you can get infections and there's people having issues with the mesh. So hopefully that doesn't happen to me.
That was Phil Heath's issue. It was the whole mesh thing.
Yeah, was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, his body
I
rejected.
got mesh in both of mine.
Yeah. Is yours umbilical or is yours in the groin?
I got one of both. I got one of both here, like above 3 inches above my belly button. I just got a scar, and the second one was umbilical. I got the second one. The first one I got when I was like 16 through like kickboxing and stuff, and then my bodybuilding one I got 4 years back, and I got it. It was only like a grade 1, but like I could feel it coming out. So every time like I trained legs or something, I could feel it pulse a little bit, and I was pushing in. I didn't need surgery, but I had health insurance. I phoned the guy up on the Monday. I was in on the Thursday and got it done. But I got mine done around December because I don't train in December. I have December 5th off, so January 5th. So I got it done then. I was out for like 4 weeks.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a weird feeling, like, because obviously you're trying to, after you have it done, you're trying to not use your core pretty much at all. Like I was trying to put all the attention on my
Bro, it was good. It was good. I was having a shit, telling my girl to wipe my ass and shit, just take the piss out of it. It was funny. I was like, yo, I had like a little corset on. I was like pretending I couldn't wipe my ass. I'm like, oh, I'll just bend over and get that smelly one. It was fucking
Get
bro.
that smelly
I
one.
took advantage of that shit. It was funny. When just wipe that there, girl.
Get in there a little deeper. Get in there just a little deeper.
Yeah. Put your finger in there, kid. Put your finger in there. Putting a finger in there and wanking me off at the same time.
The old reach around with the finger in the butt.
Man, I'm not into the fingers in my ass thing, man. Like, I don't know.
You're not yet because you haven't experienced it.
No, I'm not into it, man. No.
He's like, no, I've experienced it. I'm not.
I didn't like it.
I've done enemies and stuff before. It's
His
not fun.
face is too red for him to not.
Yeah, there's the hat right now.
Into that shit.
He's thinking about it. He's thinking about that experience. It's traumatizing.
It was traumatizing.
I know I don't, because
He probably blew it right away. So that's why he's so traumatized.
There's your thumbnail right there. The boys like fingers in their ass.
I don't know if YouTube will monetize that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Post hernia surgery is required.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, when I had mine done, man, like I just wanted to get out of that hospital so bad, and it was just, but my actual girlfriend at the time,
finger in the butt or the
no.
God damn, the nurse was helping you out.
I was hanging out for it. But when I was actually in hospital, I was sitting in there and I was all like, you know, they leave you on that sort of like incline in the bed. And I said, can we put this down a little bit? Like, to my girlfriend at the time. And I said, I'll just check out what the buttons are over there. And she just drops the bed from like that angle to just flat straight away. So instantly, like, I tensed my abs and I'm like, oh, and just the pain in it. Cause it was like, once the painkillers kicked out, and it just instantly, I just flexed them up straight away. And I'm like, oh my God, I probably fucked it. And she was like quite a quiet girl too. She was almost having like a panic attack about it, but I was all sweet in the end. But it's like, I got real worried about just ripping the meshing or whatever. I think I was just like a hypochondriac with that stuff. So when I get out of bed, I was like, so careful, like don't use any core. And then I actually end up having back issues for the next like year afterwards, I think, because I was using no core. And it was just literally all just legs, and I was doing that for weeks. And weeks. So I just get over paranoid about that and getting more issues, I guess. So that was my story. But yeah, no fingers in assholes. So next question. Here's one. There's some assumptions in this one. Is Brett or Martin worried about infertility issues after blasting large amounts of gear? I know most bodybuilders don't have this issue, but it still must be a thought that crosses their mind, especially because Brett is mid-30s now and is blasting his socks off.
Yeah, you're old.
What?
Why?
Yeah, so,
What, Nathan? Fuck you.
What?
You
I didn't start steroids, so I was like 20,
I'm
27 years old.
What
the fuck?
you got targeted, bro.
What the fuck?
See, Brett, you got a butt like a 27-year-old and a face like a 50-year-old, bro. It come back to haunt you.
Yeah.
How old are you, Brett?
33.
Yeah, well, mid-30s, mate.
Yeah.
That's so rough.
but I've also been on that. I started 6 years ago. So this person probably asked the questions, been on gear longer than I have.
Yeah. That's funny. But do you guys like legitimately worry about fertility at all? We've obviously taken stuff.
No, I don't yet, because I don't think I've been doing long enough, and obviously I come off for cycles. So after shows and stuff like this year, got off for 2 months. Well, I'm not going to lie, because people say they come off. I didn't come completely off. I went on the TRT. Last time I was completely off was probably a year and a half ago. But with phases of TRT, or what we call TRT, with just low dosage. To be honest with you, I honestly like this shit. We were joking about it, but this shit kind of did pass my mind recently. And so what I'm going to do this next year, because I know, I'm not done with bodybuilding. My best years are still ahead of me. And what I'm thinking about doing after I compete this year. So going off completely through December, January, and like, I need to look more into this. So I want to freeze my sperm. So I want to actually I want to get fertile and freeze it. So then when Ivana is ready, we want to have kids these next couple of years, but what if I'm like getting ready for the Olympia, so it's like, I want to freeze it so we have that bank for whenever we want it. And especially with,
Bank.
The spank bank, you gotta have that spank bank set up. So, yeah, I guess like that is a good question from him, but that's more so because of my age. It isn't because of I've been blasting my balls off for the last 18 years. I've been on gear for 7 years now, if that. So, with being strategic about it, everybody they didn't know who I was before I came onto the scene. So they just automatically think I'm just running massive amounts of shit all year round. And it's frustrating, but at this point, it's laughable. So I appreciate the question. I appreciate your concern, I guess. But that is just to be 100% honest with you, it is something that did pass my mind. And that's what I plan to do this December, January, just to have that outlet so then I know for these next 4 or 5 years of competing that we always have that backup plan.
Yeah. Well, it didn't affect Ronnie Coleman. He's had like a plethora of kids. Like he's had so many.
So I mean, like really to touch on that and just give you guys some science is like, guys, there's been hundreds of studies done. Obviously, I mean, they're not studying guys that are blasting like crazy, like you think we are.
Blasting socks off.
Yeah. But like there's people that have been on TRT from the time that they're like 19 years old because their body didn't function right and end up having children. Fertility has nothing to do with this. There's people that have blasted their ass off. There's people that have blasted their ass off, have no clue what they're doing, don't PCT, and still have children. Fertility comes down to lots of other things, and it's kind of really comes down to a lot of genetic stuff, whether this is going to really affect it or not. But at the end of the day, like, yeah, there is some precautions that you have to take. Like Brett said, like coming off, getting completely clean, not being on anything, letting your natural production come back to be able to have TSH, which then turns on all the other things that makes you have SH and LH. Those are all things that have to turn back on to get that system going. Maybe you have to use HCG. Those are precautions that you need to take as a person individually. Brett and I have done those things. We've done PCTs. We've taken HCG. If you have to do those things, you have to do those things. I'm not worried about that at all. I'll cross that bridge when I cross that bridge. But you got guys like Dorian Yates, Ronnie Coleman, Arnold Schwarzenegger. They all had babies, and they were way less scientific and way less knowledgeable about drugs than we are now today in the age that we're in, especially with TRT and HRT clinics. So I have zero worry about that. Yeah,
for sure. I think most of the time, I think maybe like 15 years ago, 20 years ago, everyone was saying that like, oh, if you're taking stuff, you better freeze your stuff. It was everyone thought you probably wouldn't have kids as if you took stuff. But I think it's more now, it's like, yeah, maybe it affects it. So like, obviously like Brett, like you want to have your stuff frozen just to be safe, because you'd always regret it if you eventually can't have kids and you'd be wondering, is it because of bodybuilding? Is it because I did this or whatever? So yeah, I think that definitely is the smart way to go if you want to be ultra careful and definitely want to have kids, because I was wondering myself, like, would I be able to have kids? And now I've got 2 kids, super lucky. but like I was hoping the process of actually having kids would take a while. Like, you know, oh, we've been trying for 6 months, just so you can have just that unprotected sex for 6 months and not even care if you get pregnant, like you actually want to. But like I literally like we started trying because we actually thought we were pregnant accidentally, because like the pregnancy test kept showing like a line that way and then a line that way, and it just said if there's 2 lines that way, you're pregnant, and if there's 1 and none, it means you're not pregnant. So I was like, what the fuck's going on? And then yeah, and then eventually we found out after 2 weeks they just started showing it 1 line and no lines. And then yeah, and then started trying, and then it was like a week and a half later, it was like the positive tests were coming back. So yeah, so I sort of got unlucky and lucky at the same time, because I wanted to have a kid, but at the same time I didn't want to have one that quick. I wanted to be trying for 6 months, and you know, that way, because you know it's a bit more fun that way. And then the second one, my second kid, was accidental. I actually thought she was on my bill. She said, no, I said I just picked it up. And I was like, oh, okay, I have another kid then. So but it's sort of cool. They're super close in age. Like I've got, for people that are listening that don't know, I've got I don't even know if you guys know my kids' ages, but they're just turned 3, one of them, and the other one's my daughter's 14 months younger. So they're both super close. They're good friends and all that sort of stuff, which is really cool. But yeah, when we just had the second one, it was pretty fucking hectic, because my son wasn't sleeping still amazing, and then we had a daughter that was just born, and it's like that first 3 months, as you know, Nathan, they can be pretty hectic when they're not sleeping the best.
Yeah, bro, mine's the same. Mine's close. I think mine like fucking 10 months, like 12 months apart.
I was gonna say 10 months is pretty rough, like literally pop one out and straight away.
Yeah, I think mine's like what? No, 15 months apart. 15 months. It's nothing,
Yeah, pretty much similar to mine. Yeah, mine's I think 14 months and 10 days or something exactly. So, but yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Like how are your kids? Like, are they like best friends?
No.
They hate each other.
No.
Yeah, my son's good, bro. I'll have another son anytime. But my daughter, she's a pain in the ass. If I can just give her away, I'll just give her away. Like my boy is cool. My daughter is like, you know, he's respectful. He does things you ask him, you know, and he's not always wanting things. He understands, like, you know, fucking money and the concept of it and stuff. My daughter, she tells him to fucking jump off a bridge. The soft dope will fucking jump off a bridge. She like manipulates him and tells him what to do and gets him in loads of shit. Women are harsh, bro. She's gonna be a pain in the ass for sure. But my boy, he's good.
Yeah, my son's definitely chilled out. My daughter's funny, man. Like, actually, my son the other night, like, it was funny because there's only one other person around to see it, but he like he's got like a million of those like small like matchbox cars. I don't know what you guys call them, but just those little cars. So he has like 50, 60 of those that he just puts in his trays and just takes them out, takes them like wherever he wants to go. He's like, let's get a backpack and put all my cars in it. And then he wants to take that with him, like we're going out in the car. And he's like really protective. So if my daughter touches one of the cars, he freaks out and just starts, he'll rip it out of their hands and be like, it's not happening. No matter how many times you tell him to share and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, she I can't remember where I was going with this story, actually, to be honest. But I just fucking lost it. That's right. The other night, he like, she had 2 of his cars and came and sat up on the seat next to me. And because she's like, oh, Dad will protect me. And then he comes up to me and he's pointing down at his foot and going, I'm like, what? Like, what? Like, and he's like, and he's holding his toe up off the ground. I'm like, oh, have you hurt your foot? And I'm like, oh, okay, come here. Like, Dad will have a look, look at the bottom of it. And I'm looking at the bottom of it and I'm like, oh, I'll get my phone and get the torch. And so he's sitting right next to me. And he literally just faked it and just rips the cards out of my daughter's hands, like when I'm looking for my phone, and then just walks off completely fine. Like, foot wasn't an issue whatsoever. I'm like, you just manipulated the shit out of me. Like, I was like, that's scary. Are you gonna be like a serial killer or something? But I think he's good. I think he's too nice for that. But yeah, I was just like, holy shit. I'm like, this is like just before his 3rd birthday. So I was a little bit scared then, but he's like manipulating me when I'm 32 and he's 3. So anyway, next question.
Hey, Xavier, real quick, I gotta run. I got a phone call here at 6. I gotta jump on it. I just passed.
Oh, that's all good, man. We'll wrap this up one up
You
anyway.
guys finish up. I'll talk to you guys later this week. All right.
Yeah, too easy, man.
Thanks, bro.
All right, see you, bro. All right, let's ask one more question and then we'll wrap this thing up. What's your dream? This is from Muhammad Sidat. dream workout partner and who put them through their toughest workout? Thanks, love the podcast. So Nathan, who's your dream workout partner and who put you through the toughest workout of your life?
I'd love to work out. I'd love to check out with fucking Marcus Real, bro. I'd love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. He's European. He's like one of the builders that just doesn't give a fuck. I know from people like he's like dead down to earth, but at the same time, he's dead like he's dead intelligent and like on the banter. He has like I heard like he has like a lot of quick one-liner backhand answers. You know what I mean? And I'm into all that back and forth stuff. So for me, it's always been Marcus Real. So I wouldn't mind a bit of that. Hopefully, might get a session with him one time when he's over here in Europe, in England, or I'm in Germany. Fingers crossed. And my toughest workout was when I was in Q8 when I was with Chemo and Rami. And there's me, Chemo, Rami, and then one other Egyptian guy. Oh God, just a soul. The guy who died from Canada.
Oh,
remember him?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like that was
really shredded, nice shape. That guy.
Yeah, he had brain tumor or cancer or something.
Yeah.
I done a workout with him, and I could squat fairly heavy. And then my coach and Chemo was saying, "Look, Nathan, this guy thinks he can beat you. Show him what's done." And then Rami jumped in, and then we were on the Smith machine squat, up and down, like 1 plate on, 2 plates on, drop sets and stuff. And then we got to like 8 plates and like on a drop set, the guy just caved it. But I thought to myself, I just can't stop because Rami's just going up and down, up and down. And literally, bro, like I got through that. The guy after squats, the guy finished. It was just me and Rami. But then like I knew Rami was fucked, but he didn't want to stop. And I was fucking thought, this motherfucker can't beat me. And then we were back and forth. And at the end of it, I just puked, man. Like went to the toilet at the end, made sure no one seen, just fucking puked it. I was ill for like 5 minutes. I was like, fuck, that was hard. And then I was like, where's Rami? Where's Rami? No one's seen him. he just got off. I think he was dead himself, but that was a good session, man.
Oh, that's cool as. Martin, what about you? Who's your dream workout partner and what was your toughest workout? I probably imagine it could be Branch or someone like that that's put you through it.
Yeah, man. For a workout partner, that's kind of hard because I would honestly say like I probably get to work out with one of the people that I've always wanted to work out with my whole life every day. You know, I get to train with Branch. He's my hero. One of my favorite people ever for being the most intense hardcore guy out there, training his ass off. Dorian Yates would be another person that I would have loved to get a session with. Just guys that take it to the absolute fucking limit. Tom Platz, probably somebody else that would have been probably one of the best training partners ever. Just absolute psychos. But really, man, like I said, I live a dream. Brian Dobson and Branch Warren are two of the most intense people in the world. And I think a lot of people would give their left arm to do what I'm getting to do right now. So I'm very thankful.
Branch would kill my ass, bro. I wouldn't even give my left toenail. I'd just say no. I'd say, fuck you.
Yeah, no, for real though. And because of that, it's definitely making me a better bodybuilder, man. The hardest session that I've ever done, I've had one session with Branch that was a back session that was like, I swear to God, my forearms were pumped for like 3 days from it. Like it was just brutal. And in the middle of it, I had to take a shit. Like my body was like, I went into fight or flight, and it was like either you're gonna puke or you're gonna shit. So I go to the bathroom, and like I'm literally going to the bathroom, and Branch rips a fucking door open and is like, "It's your fucking set, let's go." I'm like, I'm going to the bathroom. Like, let me go to the bathroom. Like, and then he was like, oh, slams the door. Hurry up.
He probably thought you were just puking or like pussing out.
Yeah. Well, I think he thought I was lollygagging in the bathroom, taking my time, when really I was actually going to the bathroom.
Man, that turns off for me, bro. When I train, that turns off for me. Like I hardly have ever shit while I'm training unless I'm like, got the runs or something.
No, bro, like what happened is like literally my body went into fight or flight, and it was like whatever's in your body is gonna get rid of it because it thinks it's gonna die. Like that's what training with Branch and Brian is like next level. Like you're gonna go places you've never been before. So I'd say that the hardest session that I've ever had in my life was a leg session with Brian. And by the third exercise, I threw up 3 times. Then we went to the 4th exercise and then the 5th exercise. And the 5th exercise was leg press, 5 sets of 50. And I puked after the 2nd set. I puked after the 3rd set, and I puked after the 5th set. So I puked like probably 7 times in that session. I lost 9 pounds and it was like 102. So that session was brutal. But honestly, I think that the sessions like those, which we had multiple of those in Metro, I think that those are not only making me a better bodybuilder physique wise, but mentally, like I truly feel like there's not another bodybuilder that can outwork me and outdo me. Like I'll stand up with anyone. I know that on training, that's for damn sure.
Man, it's literally the question I was about to ask. I was about to ask, how much does it do for you mentally versus physically? Because I know I got put through a workout once and it was like, it just sticks out of my mind as by far the hardest workout I've ever done in my life. And it was legs. And I think I mentioned it on here before. The guy was literally, I was collapsing and he's ripping me up and just collapsing again and collapsing. And like my legs were legitimately sore for 2 weeks, which I didn't know could be a thing. And like, I think physically it actually was probably bad for me, but mentally like made me realize training from then on, I was like, oh, I can push myself to this level. It's only half of where I got to, but it's way harder than I was training before. So it was sort of like just mentally lets you know where you can go to, and then you can push past that. So I think that's
I definitely have been put in rhabdo from Brian. I'm almost 100% positive. Like didn't go to the doctor, but like laid in my bed for 3 days, like sick as a dog. And it was purely because we went too hard.
Man,
like
what is rhabdo?
So rhabdo is like, it's literally your body going into like rapid protein breakdown because you've just completely demolished your muscle. Your kidneys start to have like shut down a little bit because you're trying to process so much protein breakdown. And it's like full body pain and stuff.
Bro, I think that happened to me because I got sick straight after it and I was walking. This is like a week later and I was walking. I get out of bed because I felt, I had like the flu sort of thing. I get out of bed and I said to, because I was living with my mum at the time, and I was like, I got out of bed and I said, it feels like I'm tearing my quad every step I take. Like it's like I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
You probably had rhabdo for sure.
Yeah, I must have.
Yeah. So I think Brian has probably put me in that a couple times, man. But truly, I really, really think that like my mental toughness, man, is like it's probably grown like 500% this year. Like it's unreal. And like I said, like I can train with any bodybuilder in the world. There's not a single person that could say like, you want to train, and I would back down. I'll tell them like, yeah, you ready to get buried? Even if I don't know if I can bury them, like I'm going to tell them that because I think that I can do it. And I'm going to make sure that when they leave that session, they felt like they fought Tyson. And I'll wear that badge on my shoulder because if nothing else, I might not be a Mr. Olympia, but I want to make sure that I'm the hardest fucking worker in the gym and that everybody remembers me for that. But dude, going into this competition too is like, I'm so much more confident in my physique because of these sessions. And like, I leave knowing that I did every single thing I possibly could.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like I leave every day feeling like I fought Tyson, and it's like, if there was something more in the tank, then goddamn, I don't know where I was going to get it from. And if that's what it takes, then, or if I do that, at least I know I gave it everything I had.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's something like comforting knowing that like you've given it all you got, and then you can't go, oh fuck, I should have done this, I should have done that, or whatever. Because it's not a good feeling when you're on stage and you go, yeah, fuck, I could have done a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna have that feeling again. That happened to me twice last year, man. I'm not gonna have that happen again.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like as well, like you were mentioning about saying like you tell people you're going to bury them, and even if you don't know if you can, because obviously it gives you that drive to be like, well, I better fucking train hard now. If I've told them I'm going to bury them, if you pussy out and pull out of a workout, then fuck, that's like there's no way. Like if I told someone that, and I have I've trained with people before, and I think I don't know if you guys remember AD Cherry, who was a pro back in the day, real small waist, lives in Hawaii. I don't know if he still does or not, but I think he's downsized a lot now. But I went over to Hawaii and trained with him, and he would, smoke a bit of weed before he trains, all that sort of stuff. And then I was always like, when I was younger, I was probably a teenager at the time. So I was, real early in on things, or maybe 20 years old at the most. And I trained my ass off, especially when I was younger. I trained, try to go to failure every single set, no matter what. And he's like, holy shit. He's like, these Australians train hard. And just like the way he was saying it, I would leave it on the line every time. Probably to a detriment to my body as well, because my CNS can only take so much. And I know that I burn out at a certain point, and I was sort of having a mentality where I'd always push past it until I did a prep where I was like, okay, well, I'm not doing every set till maximum. And my body looked a million fucking times better because I wasn't training like an idiot. Like I wouldn't do a crazy amount of sets, but I would take every set to fucking as far as I could, because my genetics, I know just genetically, I'm naturally an ectomorph, very skinny, all that sort of stuff. So I've got to actually push it really fucking hard if I'm going to gain any sort of muscle. So I think that I'd always push probably too hard back in the day. But like you said, if someone says, oh, I'll put you through a workout, see how you do or whatever, you get that little bit of ego going, oh yeah, well, we'll see, like you start to get like that and then want to absolutely smash it. So totally understand that. But guys, we'll pretty much wrap it up there. Do you guys want to say anything or anything like that before we wrap up the show, or are you good?
No, man, good. Thank you, brother. Thank you for tonight.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. As always, Nathan's obviously late over there probably now, as it always is when we do these shows. But appreciate you, and appreciate you doing it, Martin. You'll pretty much always make yourself available whenever, which is really cool as well. You guys are actually really, really fucking good for it, because I do interviews with some people and trying to nail down one time for one person sometimes is hard, and you guys make it pretty damn easy. So much appreciated. And also appreciate Brett as well for doing that too. But anyway, guys, that's it for another episode. Make sure you guys get in the comments below. Let us know what you think about what's going to go down at the Chicago Pro this weekend. Also, let us know what you think about Michal Krizo. Do you think he's the real deal? Where will he place in the Olympia if he gets there this year? All that good stuff. Let us know, and let us know if you have any questions for next week's episode as well. So for myself, Xavier Wills, Martin Fitzwater, Nathan Asha, and Brett Wilkin, we are out for another episode of Bodybuilding University.